I had acne for over a decade, and Accutane saved my skin. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be discussing Accutane. So let me just give you guys a timeline. Preteen years, I had acne, but it wasn't so bad. It was things that could be treated with topical medications and ointments and things like that. But as time progressed, as I started getting into my late teens, 17, 18, 19, my acne got bad. It progressively worsened to cystic acne. And during my preteens, I never thought that my acne would have gotten that bad. As you can imagine, around this time, I just started university, and it took a toll on my confidence as a young girl because I was trying everything. I was trying the old medication, the new medication that I was receiving, and nothing was working for me. Although I was using the fading creams and the things to peel my skin and get rid of the scars and stuff like that, I was getting pimples every 2 days. It was not making sense. Finally, I went to my dermatologist, and I had been seeing him for a few years on and off. I sat down with him and I was like, look, we have to do something about this acne. I've been doing a little bit of research. I suggested getting on Accutane, and he couldn't agree more. Okay. Before he put me on Accutane, he wanted to see if there were other things that would work for my skin. So we started off with doxycycline, and that cleared up my skin for a good 2 to 3 months. But after the 3 months, the acne came back, and it came back worse. If you're trying to get covered by insurance, more than likely they will put you on 1 or 2 other drugs just to see how it works for your skin. Normally, doxycycline tends to work for people, so that's why they always try that first, but it didn't work for me. I was a little hesitant because of the research that I had done on Accutane at first and how it dries you out and what it does to people's kidneys and all of these different side effects. But the benefit outweighed the risk. Now, I just want to talk about the requirements to get on the drug. But I want you to do your own research and find out everything that there is to know about Accutane before you start taking it. Now, let's get into the requirements. You have to go through something called iPledge. And through iPledge, you take a quiz and you have to pledge abstinence or get on 2 forms of birth control because they want to ensure that you are not pregnant or getting pregnant while you are on the drug due to the harm that it can do to a child. You also will be required to get blood work every month just for them to check how things are functioning and also to ensure that you are not with child. My suggestion for when you should start Accutane is anywhere between the months of December to about March. The reason I say this is because you want to make sure you're out of the sun, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. During the first couple of weeks with you being on Accutane, you're going to realize how dry your skin starts to get. You'll probably realize it around the 2nd or 3rd week. You'll start seeing dry patches and stuff on your face and realizing how quick your hands dry out. You need to hydrate yourself. If you were drinking 5 bottles of water before every day, you need to be drinking 10. Okay. Also ensure that you're getting electrolytes and making sure your skin is completely moisturized. Let's talk about the side effects that I experienced while I was on Accutane. One of the major things that I experienced was dry lips. I mean, to the point that my lips were blistering. And I'm going to insert pictures so that you guys can see how bad it got. With that being said, I need to add, stay out of the sun. Stay out of the sun. If you have to be in the sun and maybe you work outside, I don't know, you need to make sure you have an umbrella with you, a face mask, double layers of sunscreen. You need to protect your skin from the sun. It will burn you. And I will put a picture right here. I didn't know that I needed to stay out of the sun that bad. I was in this picture, I was only in the sun for about no more than 10 to 15 minutes. I got burnt like toast. So that's one of the things you need to recognize, that your skin is going to be very sensitive to sunlight and you don't want to damage the results and the progress that you already have. Also would suggest reapplying sunscreen throughout the day, especially if you know you're going to have to be outside. Start off with sunscreen in the morning, in the afternoon, and right before the sun goes down. It would not hurt. Now I'm just going to share with you guys a few products that I used while I was on Accutane that really helped me. I'm going to add some pictures, but we're going to go down and talk about each one. Now for my lips, I use this Laneige. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is going to save you from everything, okay? This is the only thing that was able to keep my lips moisturized, like actually moisturized, not just on the surface or topical. This will get you right. Another thing that I would suggest, but I didn't get the opportunity to use while I was on Accutane, topicals. This is the best lip gloss if you are on Accutane. And I still use it now. I have it on right now. It's one of my favorite lip glosses, but I wish I had this while I was on Accutane. This would have saved me really bad. To cleanse my skin, I used a Dove soap bar, the sensitive version, and even though it wasn't harsh, it still dried out my skin. So I suggest going for something that is very, very, very gentle. You don't need any harsh face washes or benzoyl dioxide. You don't need any of those things while you're on Accutane because it's already doing the work from the inside out. Heavy moisturizer, lather it up, okay? Especially in the winter. If you're getting on Accutane during the winter months, you need to be lathered in moisturizer, lathered in lotion, because you're going to get dry after a few hours of just being in the cold air. You need it. One of the things that I used was Aquaphor and La Roche-Posay. I just mixed those together along with my sunscreen and I was good for a few hours. You can also add eye drops to your list. My eyes were dry for the first couple of months, but after that I was okay. I was on Accutane for 5 months. It can be different for other people depending on how bad it is, depending on how severe your acne is, along with the dosage as well. A lot of people have said that their skin was very dry. Some people said their skin retained some moisture, so you just never know. During the first couple of weeks, you're going to realize that your skin is just very dry. Then you get to about month 3 and your skin starts to purge. Okay, it's pushing out all the dirt, pushing out all the pimples and all the cysts. Everything is surfacing. So your skin is essentially getting worse before it gets good. And I absolutely loved the purging part because there was a pimple that was stuck in my cheek for months. I mean, it was there for so long. So the fact that it pushed it out to the surface and everything was gone it made me very happy to purge. After that purging session, you're going to realize your skin is getting clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. And it just felt amazing to see the transition from really bad acne to purging everything out and then to clear skin at the end of the 5 months. And I haven't had a pimple since. The only time you'll probably really get a breakout is around your cycle. Other than that, you don't really get pimples anymore. You don't really get breakouts and scars and stuff like that. Everything is pretty much gone. I also wanted to add that Accutane cleared all of my scars. I had really, really, really bad acne scars all over my forehead and on my cheeks. It cleared everything. Everything was gone. And that was as a result of my skin drying out so much that it just started to peel like a reptile. Everything just started to peel off. So that's another benefit of being on the drug. You won't have to get an acid peel or anything like that after you get off. Now, I've heard of some people having to get on second, third, fourth, fifth rounds, but I just say be consistent with the drug. Ensure that your dermatologist is giving you the proper dose. Maybe if you did start and you didn't purge at all, you can discuss that with your dermatologist and see if you need to go up or if you can maintain at the same level. I would definitely recommend Accutane. I'm not sponsored. Okay, they're not paying me. It was just the only thing that was able to clear my acne. And nowadays we have TikTok. We can see a lot of other people's stories and you can see how they went from crazy cystic acne to clear skin forever. So if this is something that you've been considering, or maybe you've heard of it and you just didn't know if you should get on it or not, definitely speak with your dermatologist and see what options they have available for you before getting on Accutane. But if this is your last resort, like it was mine, I would definitely recommend it. If there was anything that I would do differently with Accutane, I would stay out of the sun. I would drink a lot of water and electrolytes like liquid IVs, Gatorade, different things like that. I would purchase all of my skincare stuff before I get started, and I would probably hibernate for like those 5 months that I was on Accutane. I would never leave the house because my skin looked so weird, especially after or during the purging stage, and my lips were so pink. My lips were stripped, my melanin was gone from my lips. So, yeah. I was able to remedy that with wearing lip liner. So, hey, and at work, I wore a mask, so it didn't really matter. Now that I'm off of Accutane, my skin routine is very simple. I use a gentle cleanser and I still use Aquaphor. I still use the same things to moisturize my lips, but my skin composition has changed. I have very, very, very dry skin. Very dry skin. And I'd rather have that, of course, than to have acne. But just so you know, you're going to have dry skin. I just want to share some encouragement, maybe with a young woman that is going through having acne and going through something similar. I just want to say you are absolutely beautiful with or without the acne. I know it probably doesn't feel like it right now because of how bad your acne is, even if you don't get on Accutane. Know that you are still beautiful either way. And don't hide out. Don't hide yourself. Don't not go to events. Don't not be present, because that was something that I did when my acne would get really bad. When I would have flare-ups, I would hide out. I would not want to go anywhere. I would get invited somewhere and I'm like, I can't go because I have I have 10 new pimples on my face. I cannot go because I was so embarrassed, just so ashamed of how my skin looked. And yeah, I'm just encouraging you not to do that. If you have any questions or concerns, comment down below. I am more than willing to answer any of your concerns. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.